you know I've been critical of the history of the Chicago Bears offense. And for years and years, the Bears were known for defense. It could be Dick Butkus. It could be Richard Dent. It could be Brian Urlacher. It could be the 85 Bears. They were always known for defense and toughness, but they've never had a great quarterback. I mean, like really ever, or great receivers. And they really are old school football. But we've got to be fair. When they hired Ryan Poles, a former offensive lineman who'd spent time in Kansas City, he gets offense. Okay, and so when he made that Chase Claypool move, a lot of people sold their stock in him. But I saw RG3, former NFL player, and at another network saying yesterday, hey, Caleb Williams has got to pull an Eli Manning, and he's got to say, I'm not going to Chicago. We got to be fair. Pump the brakes, RG3, pump the brakes. So let's go back 1 year and look what Ryan Poles, the GM, has done. March 10th last year, he gets DJ Moore, a number one receiver. It decimates Carolina, decimates their offense. Everybody gets fired. He comes in. Chase Claypool didn't work. DJ Moore did. Legit number one receiver. He then in January, this January, hires Shane Waldron, an offensive coordinator. Now think about this. Geno Smith was a bust. He takes Geno Smith, gets him to 2 Pro Bowls, a 97 passer rating in a good division, and that's while the Seahawks were rebuilding their offensive line. 50 touchdowns, 20 picks. Geno Smith, who was done, lights out, career's over. 2 Pro Bowls. Okay? Then he gets, 6 days ago, DeAndre Swift, who's not only a 1,000-yard rusher, and he may not be Christian McCaffrey as a receiver, but he's a very high-end pass-catching running back. So he gets a guy that transformed Geno Smith, a bust. He gets DJ Moore last year, a legit number one receiver. There's not that many legit number one receivers in the league. And even with Justin Fields, who struggled, DJ Moore was good. He then gets a great back out of the backfield for rookie Caleb Williams. In trouble, a dump-off guy. He's not done. He goes and gets 2 Chargers who know each other well. Tight end Gerald Everett, a number 2 tight end, good player, solid player, vet, and Keenan Allen, a tremendous third down wide receiver. So look at what Caleb Williams now is inheriting. And remember, Poles is a former offensive lineman, and he spent a lot of draft capital a couple years ago rebuilding a mess that he inherited on the O-line. They now have 2 legitimate tackles. He took a kind of a bust pick, moved him inside. The O-line's not bad. I said this past year. Don't blame Justin Fields' problems on the O-line. O-line's middle of the pack. It's not a disaster. There's a lot worse O-lines. 2 in New York. Chicago's is fine. So again, what has he given Caleb Williams? Much better than Justin Fields. A legit number 1, a third down receiver, 2 legit tackles, an offensive coordinator that saved Geno Smith's career, and a running back, a dump-off guy who got 1,000 yards running but can also catch passes. That's pretty good. 2 good receivers, 2 capable tight ends, 2 good tackles, a workable running back, and an offensive coordinator who on the market was seen as somebody that was wanted by several teams. They also have the number 9 pick. Yes, Ryan Poles got the number 9 pick. There are mock drafts today saying they're going to get Rome Odunze, the receiver from Washington. Another receiver says Keenan Allen is getting older and probably has about 2 to 3 years left. Or they could get a defensive piece. But we've got to be fair. Look what New England's going to give their rookie quarterback. Basically a nothing burger. Now, it's not perfect. I wish they had an offensive coach. I wish they didn't have a defensive coach on the hot seat who could be out in November if things go sideways. But this is, if Caleb Williams doesn't work and is a bust, that's on Caleb Williams. This is not New England. This is not what Justin Fields inherited. This is not Carolina. This isn't even Atlanta. Keenan Allen's a veteran. DeAndre Swift's been around the league, though he's mid-20s. So this is not a mess in Chicago. Finally, a GM with an offensive sensibility. Didn't like the Chase Claypool move. I thought initially it would work body type. It didn't. Also, he drafted Velus Jones, a third-round wide receiver pick, which I did not like at all. But for the record, Bill Belichick, pretty good football mind, has not drafted a legit wide receiver in maybe ever. So it's not an easy position. Chargers had a GM. Looks like he missed on a wide receiver. Quentin Johnston, what is he? We don't know. Doesn't look great. So it's not an easy position to just, nail it. A lot of good teams and GMs have missed on wide receivers. So we've got to be fair on Chicago. I've blasted them as much as anybody. This is set to succeed. A number one receiver, 2 legit tackles and tight ends, a pass-catching running back, a tight end who played with a star receiver. I mean, that's. I'm not saying they're as good as Minnesota. I'm not saying it's San Francisco, but it's better than Dallas. I mean, Dallas now is CeeDee Lamb and cross your fingers. I think you look at it, and to me it feels, at least it's like in the Philadelphia class. It's in that class. Although Barkley's better than Swift. Swift's a good player. So we got to be fair on this stuff. New information equals new opinion. When you brought in Keenan Allen, Shane Waldron, Gerald Everett, DeAndre Swift, and that offensive line they're rebuilding in Chicago, they're all kids. They should get better. New information, new opinion. This is built for Caleb Williams to succeed. I didn't feel that way 6 months ago. I didn't feel that way necessarily before Keenan Allen, DeAndre Swift, Gerald Everett. I didn't feel that way necessarily. New information, new opinion. Caleb Williams fails, it's on Caleb. This is more than good enough. This is better than what C.J. Stroud got. And I don't love defensive coaches, but Sean McDermott has worked. John Harbaugh's worked. DeMeco Ryans has worked. Defensive guys with rookie quarterbacks at one point. All right, let's shift gears to this. So I've been saying this. I know what I get from LeBron James in the playoffs, and I know what I get from Anthony Davis. I even know what I get from Austin Reeves. As the Lakers hammered Atlanta last night, it looks like a roll your eyes, no big deal, Atlanta's Atlanta win. But it was sneaky important because once again, D'Angelo Russell, the talented but distracted and flaky and inconsistent player who's always had talent. Warriors got him. They were exhausted by him. Got him out as fast as they could. And last year, flaky, got benched this year in December. But has anybody noticed what's happened to D'Lo since he's been back to playing? He was benched. And by the way, he was benched probably because LeBron went to the coach and said, get him on the bench. So this is the magic of LeBron. This is what LeBron does. Now, sometimes LeBron can marginalize a center. Chris Bosh, Kevin Love, move them to the outside, take away, their power game. Because he wants you to stay away from the basket, take the big out. He can drive to the basket and score when he loses confidence on his jumper. But LeBron's always been good with guards, especially flaky, distracted ones. J.R. Smith, great example. People forget this. J.R. Smith got in trouble in New York. He got benched by the Knicks. He went to Cleveland, 4 years with LeBron. Good years, big buckets, part of that championship team. Now, J.R. Smith was a really good player with LeBron. Kyrie Irving, pre-LeBron. Erratic, hurt, not well liked by teammates. Seen, some considered a bust. With LeBron, he became a megastar in the NBA. By the way, he left LeBron, goes to Boston. That didn't work. Brooklyn didn't work, but it worked with LeBron. D'Angelo Russell last night hit 6 threes. He now has tied the single season 3-point shot mark for the Los Angeles Lakers. And oh, by the way, he's coming off back-to-back 10-plus assists. Here's what he has done since being benched in December. Since he has returned, D'Angelo Russell is giving you 22 points, 7 assists, and shooting 45% from threes. He is one of the best three-point shooters in the league. In those games, since he's been benched and returned to the starting lineup, he's given them 20 points or more in 18 of 29 starts. And we've always said, I don't worry about LeBron in the playoffs. Leadership, points, I don't worry. I don't worry about AD. He'll be great defensively every night. 3 out of 4 nights good offensively. I don't worry about Austin Reeves. But you can't get to the championship round if Austin is a 3. He's got to be a 4. He's undrafted. He's not as talented. This team comes down to the consistency of D'Angelo Russell. And once again, be it Kyrie Irving, erratic, can be flaky. J.R. Smith, immature, inconsistent. Austin Reeves, undrafted, limitations, lower ceiling. LeBron gets the best out of shooters and guards. He always has. And D'Lo's a great example. He's always had talent. Great college player. Really good player early in his career, but he's bounced around the league. Last year, goes to the playoffs. You don't know what you're getting night to night. They bench him in December. But since that benching, it's LeBron's magic. Grow up, kid. And so D'Angelo Russell is on a heater. He's been a kind of a distracted player, a little bit of a temperamental player, an inconsistent player, talented guy. J.R. Smith, Kyrie Irving, D'Lo. This is what LeBron does. Denver's the best team in basketball. They've got 4 guys I can mostly depend on. A Jokic, a Jamal Murray, a Gordon, a Michael Porter. Other good players, but 4 guys bedrock. Celtics have 4 guys. Drew Holiday, Porzingis, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. The Lakers have always had 3. LeBron, AD, and Austin Reeves creates contact, gets to the free throw line, can give you about 17 a night. We've always waited for D'Lo, who has the talent, to be a consistent 3, push Austin Reeves to a 4. And what you've seen during the Lakers' hardest part of their schedule, I know it's just Atlanta, but they've got wins over OKC and then Minnesota and the Clippers recently. It's the hardest stretch of the season. They have found, apparently, since the benching, back to starting, they have found their consistent 3, and we know they match up with the Nugget size and few teams do in the West. Can they match up now with consistency from their top 4? Looks like they can.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Uncle Colin. Subscribe here to get the latest from the herd, including exclusive behind-the-scenes videos and more, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thanks again for making us part of your day.